So my name is Stefan. I'm CEO of European Capital of Democracy nonprofit organization based in Vienna. I welcome all of you to this webinar series event in our European City Network. The topic today is Cities Teach. This is a format where we hear best practice from different cities and then discuss them together in breakout sessions, so a very interactive format. What is European Capital of Democracy? We are a non-profit organization founded by the Innovation in Politics Institute that organizes the yearly Innovation Politics Awards and also the ECNAMEAS conference, two formats you might know from the previous years. And now we are active Europe-wide to connect cities, collect best practice from these innovative approaches that cities develop, and also roll them out to more and more citizens across Europe. To create this new layer of international cooperation in participation and democracy innovation for cities. The topic today is climate plans, green cities, and biodiversity. I can say there is maybe no more burning issue than this one. And I myself am very curious to hear what the cities will share with us and what you, the participants, will discuss in the breakout sessions. It's hosted by the City of Brussels, who will also give an introduction in a minute, and features inputs from the Municipality of Valongo and the City of Vienna. Our speakers today will kindly introduce themselves in a bit, but I can pre-announce them. It's Arnaud Pingstere, if I pronounced that correctly in Dutch, from the City of Brussels, Marion Julien, his colleague, also from Brussels, Tiago Koch from the Municipality of Valongo, and Katharina Toth from the City of Vienna, who will be the next European Capital of Democracy after Barcelona, the city that carries the title right now. Supporting the meeting are our moderators, Matis, Martina, Elena, and myself. I thank everyone who helps us organizing this whole webinar and facilitating the breakout sessions. This is the agenda. And as you can see, we start with a best practice presentation from Brussels, continue with Valongo, and then go on to Vienna, followed by the breakout sessions. Any questions at this point, please address them in the chat, and I'm handing over to Arnaud Pingstere for his introduction. Thank you.
Thank you, Stefan. Your pronunciation is perfect of my family name. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm, as alderman of the City of Brussels, I'm really glad to host this webinar, and I'm very honored to introduce this work. Like Stefan explained. This webinar will be a very precious contribution to the Network of Towns project, co-funded by the EU in collaboration with the European Capital of Democracy. And why this? It's because we are all facing, as a city, a growing urban population, and we are also all facing the same challenges, social challenges, economical, climatic one, democratic one. And so we are all looking for innovative solutions. We are trying to implement those innovative solutions, and it's so important to learn from each other and to learn from each other's actions and ambitions. It's what we are doing with the European Capital of Democracy Network. It's what we will do this afternoon about a topic, a crucial topic of this century, the climate changes. Like you read and let you know, climate change continues to impact our society, but we are still impacting also climate changes. And so Brussels, like other cities, are thinking about reducing their carbon footprint, but there is also another crisis. It's a democratic one. So we need to organize the change, the needed change about climate, and about our practice and our footprint. But we need to do this change, and it will be much efficient if we are doing this change with the people and not against them, if they can be part of the change. And therefore, it's the democratic innovation even important than the climate policy that we are developing. So I'm very glad that this afternoon we will have three presentation of three models, different models of climate plans of three cities, like Stefan explained, but also, and it will be quite interesting to have explanation about the method all those three cities developed to conduct, to produce those climate plan, but also to implement them. So I wish you a very interesting exchange. And for some of you, I see you in 2 weeks in Brussels, because we are also organize a physical event in Brussels, and it will be the opportunity also to discover in the concrete and in the reality the process and the initiative we are taking here in our city. Thank you very much, and enjoy your afternoon.
Thank you very much, Arnaud. And I forgot to mention that the webinar is recorded for documentation purposes, and also to share it with participants who could not make it in the last minute. So please, everyone who doesn't want to be seen, kindly disable your videos. The breakout sessions will not be recorded, of course, because this is for personal exchange. All right, this is for me to hand over to Marion.
Yes, thank you, Stefan. I will first share my screen. Can you all see the slides? Just to be sure, okay. So maybe just to introduce myself, I'm Marion Julien. I'm the climate plan coordinator for the City of Brussels. And I will try to summarize the content and the structure of the climate plan that was adopted at the end of 2022, and also put a focus on the governance approach that we are trying to put in place. I'll try to be as concrete as possible. Maybe just a few information on the local context. The City of Brussels is one of the 19 municipalities of the Brussels capital region. And we are one of 19.
Mario, I'm afraid you're muted because someone muted all participants. So if this happens,
okay,
please kindly unmute yourself. And all co-hosts, if you mute participants, Marion is also muted. So please use the button carefully.
Do you hear me now, or do you have to?
We hear you, thank you.
Ah, okay, you hear me, sorry. Okay, yes, so the City of Brussels is a fifth of the region of the region Brussels capital, and we have a wide diversity of neighborhoods and needs. So we have some very green neighborhoods, but we have also some very urban ones. We have the European neighborhood, but we also have more precarious neighborhoods. So we have to take that into account for also the construction and the design of the climate plan.
Is that something that would have been meaningful to you?
I'm just hearing some people. But I
will mute everyone again, and please unmute yourself, okay?
Okay, so in terms of climate impacts, actually climate change is quite visible already on our territory. We have two major impacts that we see. First one is the risk of flooding. So we have a lot of flooding every year in the same neighborhoods, and it's because these neighborhoods are located below a river, which is loaded with water during heavy rainfall. And this accumulation of water in the same place cannot be absorbed by the sewer system. So we need to work on the permeabilizing public and private spaces. We have to create also buffer zones for water when we have heavy rains. So that's one very visible impact, and that will also increase and be more intense in the coming years. The second one is the urban heat island effects. So we can observe that in the city center, but also in other areas, we can have up to 10 degrees difference in the evening between some neighborhoods and others in the city center. So we have measured that 2 years ago, and it's super important to, well, to take measures to try to reduce this vulnerability. So that's regarding the impacts. Also, we have a new climate plan, but the transition was initiated nearly 15 years ago. So we are part of the Covenant of Mayor for Climate and Energy. We had a first climate plan. We also did an evaluation on our emissions, and the last 2 years we had a big participatory process, and thanks to that we could arrive to this new climate plan. In short, what is it for the city of Brussels? We try to propose a roadmap and to work on 2 dimensions. So first, mitigation, and the second one is adaptation. So of course, we want to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050, and we want to halve our emissions by 2030. But we also have to work on the resilience of the city. So for heat waves, drought, floods, as I have just mentioned. And for that, the public administration has a big role to play. Why do we need a new climate plan? As you've seen, we had already one before. First of all, we need to be more ambitious. So we have aligned with the European targets. We also want to be aligned with the effort sharing of Belgium. And Belgium is quite specific, but we have 3 regions with very different characteristics. So each region has its own plan and explain how it will contribute to the national objective. So the climate plan of the city really tries to be aligned with all of these. We also wanted a simpler plan. So instead of having different programs, different plans, different action, we try to have all in one. Also to complete the gaps, because some topics were less developed before. And we try also to take all the existing target of the regional plans, so not to reinvent what already exists. And also we have some very specific specificities for the local territories. So Brussels, we have a lot of tourism. It's less the case for other municipalities of the region. We have a lot of cultural actors, etc. So we also have local, a specific local context. And the third reason is we wanted a climate plan that was not just action that the public administration would take, but also with target, with objectives for the whole territory. And so all stakeholders, all sectors, all actors have a role to play. And that's really something new. I won't go into the details, but the plan, you can find it on the website of the City of Brussels. We translated it in English recently. We have 11 big chapters or topics, of course, energy, buildings, mobility, waste and resources, etc. And we also have 2 more transversal chapters. So the shared governance aspect, and how are we going to transform the administration internally in the way we work to actually facilitate the transition, to accelerate, to make it easier for the territory and for our own. So yes, that's what's in it. And just to go a bit into the structure of the document and why we build it that way, you can find it's, I think, a 90 pages document, so quite long, but for each topic, we try the same structure. First of all, there is a short text, which is the vision that we would have for this topic in 2050. So the goal is really to have something inspirational. So if Brussels succeeded in 2050, what would be the results in terms of mobility, in terms of energy? So it's not binding at all, but the goal is really to have a long-term vision. Then why are we not there yet today? And so we try to explain a bit what's the context and the challenges we face for our territory. So we have to work, for example, for energy. We have to improve the performance, the energetic performance of buildings, but we also have to try to produce more renewable energy. But we can do maybe photovoltaic, but less for the wind because we are a really urban city, etc. Also work on construction and renovation, on the materials, so indirect emissions. And then we also put some strategic objectives for 2030. So that's really midterm targets. And so the goal here is to differentiate from political cycles who are very short term and to try to say, okay, we have to put a threshold and to see in 6 years if in biodiversity, in waste, in water management, etc., what would be the good ambition? And so we've tried as much as possible to put strategic objectives in this plan. And strategic objectives for the city as a public administration, but also for the territory, for the sectors active on our territory. And then, so that's the document of the climate plan. It won't move. We also have another document, which is the action plan. And so actually it's the list of all the concrete action, all the projects that we already have identified that will help to achieve these targets. And this document will be updated. It will be improved, it will be adapted because we will see other projects. Maybe we will see that we are not going fast enough. So this one will be updated every 2 years. But the goal is really to have a roadmap that is clear for everybody. And so as I've said, we have objectives that we set for ourselves, that we impose to ourselves, and that we propose for local stakeholders. So for companies, for associations, for universities, and we try as much as possible to have all the stakeholders represented in this climate plan. So regarding the governance now, the goal, as I've said, is to have something that is capable of evolving in line with the context. So we want to have an annual assessment of the progress of this climate plan. So we've set different indicators. We will try to follow them every year and to see, okay, are we in the right trajectory? Are we in the good direction? Or do we have to take additional measure because it's not going fast enough? And then we want also every 2 years to adapt the action plan, but also to present the results and to adjust it with a governance structure. So we don't know what will be the name, but with stakeholder present in a sort of local council, and that can also follow and see the evolution of this climate plan. And maybe just a word on the shared governance. So it's an ongoing process. We are not at the end of the journey yet, but we are in the process of determining the needs and the drives of the territory stakeholders to arrive at a clear governance framework that is relevant, as relevant as possible for our context. So not all governance model can be replicated everywhere. So it's essential for us that we start from our local specificities. And we are trying to understand what are the needs. So do stakeholders want to have a community to meet and exchange with other people? Do they want rather to participate in decision-making on the climate plan during its evaluation? Do they want rather to give recommendation or to question the public authority? And depending on this, the results, the structure of governance will be very different. So the power, the duties, the role that we give, the financial model behind, everything will be different. So in terms just of history, we had this participatory process to design and conceive the climate plan. So we went on the street, we had workshops with experts on different topics. And thanks to that, we have a climate plan that was not just written by us or the people working for the city. We adopted the climate plan at the end of 2022. And last year, what we did is we launched a coalition de pilotage, like a steering committee. So we asked if people were interested on the territory to participate in the reflection. So we have a few actors that really want to, they are okay to give some of their time to think about this and to see, okay, what would be the best model for Brussels? What should be the structure, the methodology that we develop? So we did that last year. We have a group of more than 10 stakeholders, but also it was anonymous that nobody had enough time to think and develop that. So the conclusion is that we found some budget to have one full-time equivalent to work now the next 6 months to really define, clarify what would be the model, the methodology, the framework that we will have, and then to start this collaborative governance system. And actually it's super new. So the full-time equivalent started last month and they're trying to just gather everything up. We have actually a duo, so it's one junior profile working 4 days a week, one senior profile working 1 day a week, so that they can really be efficient and try to propose something that is relevant for Brussels. And I don't know what will be the name. Will it be Coalition Steering Committee or the local assembly? But their role is to determine which stakeholders have to be represented, who can join, under which condition, how can we have financially viable structure, what is the best for Brussels. So actually I cannot answer all of these questions yet, but we are trying to also go on the ground and talk with people, see what are their drives, talk also, for example, with Leuven. It's another city of Belgium, and they're quite advanced in terms of governance model to understand what is difficult, what could be good, and so on. So that's actually ongoing, and in a few months, I hope we can give you more information about this. Yes, that's it on my side. I hope it was clear.
Great, thank you so much. That was very, very interesting, and I'm sure the discussions in the breakout sessions are already anticipated by some of our listeners. I will not take much of your time. I'm just handing on, I think, to Tiago Koch, if this is correct. Tiago, please.
Hi, hello. I will share my presentation.
Can I just say thank you to more than 100 people joining this webinar, and I know everyone is busy, so happy that you're here and looking forward to Tiago's presentation now.
Yeah. Hello everyone, I'm Tiago Koch. I'm from the Municipality of Valongo. I'm a biologist and environmental specialist. I will be speaking about the Biodiversity Participatory Project. It was a process that was developed here in Valongo with the European Union, but to start, I will speak a little bit about Valongo. We are a small municipality of about 75.7 kilometers squared, population of around 95,000 people, and we are divided in 4 different parishes: Valongo, Alfena, Camp, Sobral, and Irmesinde. And we have really big forest area in our mountains, which made us try to promote more of our biodiversity and create a project to try to join a project like Biodiversity that was implemented by the EU Biodiversity Strategy. And it was based on co-creation of solutions and through awareness raising activities. This project is more focused on the promotion of biodiversity, but through it, we also hope to combat climate change and to try and have a better environment inside our cities. So for this project, we first had to find a partner because we had no experience with this kind of participatory processes. So we invited a lab from the University of Aveiro who are experts in this kind of processes, the LP3 lab. And through different online meetings, we co-created different sessions to build and try to find out which kind of activities we could promote in our municipality to promote our urban biodiversity. So what was done in Valongo? We chose to do 4 different activities, 2 in the parish of Valongo and 2 in the parish of Irmezindo, because these 2 parishes are more urbanized and feel more the effects of climate change. We have a lot of islands in Irmezindo, for example, and with this project, with the walks, we tried to find which place we could have some experimental actions and through them try to reduce the effects of climate change and promote urban biodiversity. So for the first activity that we promoted, it was a small walk through the center of Valongo, through our ecological corridor, which is a corridor that has about 5 kilometers in extension, but we only did the segment that is in the center of the city. It was a 1.8 kilometer walk, and the participants were given different guide sheets with different kinds of projects that could be implemented in different areas. The different stopping points, we tried to engage with the participants and try to see which solutions were best for those spots. This walk also counted with the special participation of Milan Matos, a biologist that helped us a lot during trying to find these solutions. After this discussion, all the data that was gathered was used to select a spot for the experimental actions that we ended up doing. So we did some invasive species control by debarking acacia trees. We built bug hotels to promote and pollinatory gardens to promote local pollinators and to allow us to have a better distribution of species, of wild species near the area of wild species of plants. And we created biotecas. The bioteca is a small book box with a small garden on top where everyone can take a book and leave a book. So by also promoting biodiversity, we also are trying to promote education and culture. As for the activities in Irmezindo, we did a 3-kilometer walk through the center of the city. Irmezindo is even more urbanized than Valongo, but it has also a lot of green spaces. We stopped in all of the main green spaces in Julien, and through the discussion with all the participants, we chose which sites needed more intervention, which kind of intervention could be done in those sites. And it was really involved kind of activity. Everyone gave their ideas, like in the walk in Valongo. And in the end, we chose to do the experimental actions near a train station in Irmezindo that doesn't have a lot of greenery, but has a lot of people coming in, walking through it, and so we could have a lot more impact with this activity. We did like on the first experimental actions, we built bug hotels, but unlike the bug hotels that we built on the first activity, which were built in small boxes, these ones were more like dream catchers, which are easier for people to build in their home. And we also built some other pollinator gardens and promoted the distribution of flowering plants for everyone with balconies and gardens that live near the area, and the adoption of flower beds for people that lived also in the neighborhood, and they could adopt the flower beds that were created in this activity. During every single one of these experimental actions and walks, the participants were given different surveys, different guide sheets, so they could find different ideas to implement in the areas that we were visiting. Through this, we were able to gather a lot more information about what everyone thought that could be done in those spots, and what could be better in our understanding of what was needed. Not only do we want to promote biodiversity, we want to do it in a way that pleases the local population. So the overall results in terms of participants, we had, we think that was everyone that participated felt the impact of this kind of participatory process, because for example, in the experimental actions that we did in Valongo, there was a family that the next day they went there of their own volition to build more bug hotels. So in the end, the two experimental actions, we built 3 bug hotels in Valongo, 15 bug hotels in Irmezindo, 5 acacias were debarked, 2 pollinator gardens were built in Valongo, 1 biblioteca was presented, and in Irmezindo, 12 flower beds were planted, 10 of which were adopted, and 5 balconies were entered in a future contest that we will try to implement, which will be the Greener Balcony project contest. So for the future of biodiversities, we hope to, as I said, promote the Greener Balconies contest, try to take these kinds of participatory process to schools and also to Alfena Campo Sobrado, which are much more agricultural areas with more forest, but also need this kind of intervention, and to disseminate a do-it-yourself guide where everyone can do these kinds of activities in their own. So, but we also have some challenges for the future. We have to create governance mechanisms and practices that can allow us to promote other kinds of these projects, and also have a greater commitment with every of the parties involved and every stakeholder. And we need to also reframe the way that we manage our territory, and so that we can have better understanding of our strategies, so that they are more flexible, more ready to combat both biodiversity loss, and climate change. And then also how to extend the results achieved in this project to other projects and on the continuation of itself. Apart from biodiversity, we also have other participatory processes, like the management plan of the Serras do Porto Park, which is a park that encompasses a lot of area from the mountains in Valongo, but also Gondomar and Paredes. The Valongo Municipal Master Plan review process that is always being updated, and every inhabitant of Valongo can have their own input on how it is done, and the strategic plan for the rehabilitation of Valongo's water lines. So with this, I will end my presentation, and I hope you enjoyed it. It was a bit different from the first one, but
Thanks a lot, Tiago,
Yeah.
for this most interesting presentation. And I loved, that you can just walk around and see and feel the impact of these activities. And also that, like the two things, you make it very hands-on and you aim to multiply these things way beyond the actual city project,
Yeah.
but it also feeds back into the strategic process. So it has, it covers both sides. It is something that can be implemented by the citizens themselves, and they can be inspired by the things they see and experience, improving their environment and their climatic conditions, but also feeds back into your strategy. And I think this is beautiful. And with that, I think I pass on to the City of Vienna and ask Katharina to share her presentation. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Warm welcome also from my side. Good afternoon. I'll share my presentation now. Can you see it?
Yes, it's just not started. It's not full screen yet in presentation mode.
I can't really.
Can you switch to two screens maybe? Oh, that's me. Hello.
No. I'll try it one more time. At first it worked. Okay. It's very small on my screen.
Well, we can see it. If you make the column on the left side smaller, the main screen is getting bigger. If you cannot start the presentation mode because you have a dual screen, then just show it like that, I would say.
I'll try it one more time. Sorry for the technical problems. At first it worked perfectly.
It happens in every single online event I have seen.
Yeah.
Have you clicked the small icon to start the presentation right next to the Zoom bar, the minus and the plus? Yeah, this one, yeah. Hooray! Off you go.
So which presentation do you see now? Like the presenters mode or the normal?
No, we see it perfectly now.
One.
Perfect. Okay, great. So hello again. My name is Katharina Toth, and I'm working for the Department for Energy Planning for the City of Vienna in the Vienna Climate Team. And I want to tell you a little bit about the Vienna Climate Team today. It's a governance and participation project in which all Viennese residents can submit their ideas for climate protection and adaptation. in 3 participating districts every year. Our main goals are systemic climate protection, strengthening democracy and social justice, and also governance innovation, because we want to support cross-thematic and cross-sectoral decision-making and coordination processes, which is probably similar to what Brussels is aiming with this governance innovation process. The preparatory work for the Vienna Climate Team already started in 2020, and we had a pilot phase in the years 2022 and 2023. The idea of the Vienna Climate Team is a participatory budget with an implementation budget of at least 20 euros per district resident, which resulted in 2023 in a smaller district in Marion in around 600,000 euros, whereas the bigger district Floridsdorf with a high population had a budget of 3.3 million. The Vienna Climate Team follows a 1-year cycle in the pilot phase. At the beginning, the residents of the city could submit ideas for the participating districts for about 6 weeks. Then the experts of the city evaluated the submitted ideas by considering the submission criteria and the available resources in the city. In co-creation workshops, the idea submitters, experts, and other interested residents could develop project drafts together, and then a representative citizens jury decided which of these project drafts are to be implemented within the respective district budget. And then the city and the districts have 2 years to implement the selected projects. But today I want to focus on the citizens jury, so phase 4 of the Vienna Climate Team. The jury is randomly selected representative jury for each district. There is a common kick-off for all jury members and 1 decision weekend per jury. In the common kick-off, there is also a serious game played, where the participants learn the complex connections of the climate crisis, the effects and causes of climate change on the city of Vienna, and also are getting familiar with the decision-making process, which is quite specific. It's based on the consent principle. I will explain it later on. And we try to promote inclusiveness by offering adequate time and location in the district, childcare, and compensation for expenses. That is 50 euros per day. So we have this common kickoff and the jury weekend. So this means if a person takes part on all 3 days, he or she gets 150 euros. We follow a 2-stage selection procedure. So on the first stage, there is 2,000 or 3,000, depending on the population in the district, randomly drawn residents per district, which have their main residence in the district and have to be 16 years old or older than 16 years. And then they have to register for the jury if they're interested in participating. And then they're again randomly drawn and representatively drawn based on demographic factors such as gender, age, education, employment status, migrational background, or income. And in the jury then, finally, there are 20 to 25 jury members, and also some extra members in case some of the registered jury members can't participate. The Vienna Climate Mosaic, as I mentioned, is used in the jury in the kickoff meeting, and it's helping the jury members to playfully and systemically learn the goals of the Vienna Climate Guide, which is similar to the Brussels Climate Plan, I guess, aiming for a climate neutral city of Vienna 2040. And I don't know if you know the Climate Fresk game. So the game mechanics are quite similar to the Climate Fresk game. Here you can see jury members playing the climate mosaic. And this is the decision-making process according to the consent principle, which basically means that a decision can only be made if no one of the jury members has a strong opposition against the decision. So only thumbs up and thumbs to the side are allowed for a decision to be made, and there must be no thumbs down. Researchers also accompanied our jury process, and the research revealed that the juries were characterized by a clear we feeling, by a high level of commitment and sense of responsibility. The decision-making process, so the consent principle, seemed to be quite unfamiliar for most of the jury members and sometimes difficult to understand. And the discussing and exchanging of arguments together makes participants often rethink their own behavior. So there you can see that some kind of social learning is happening during the jury process. I also brought some quotes of jury members where these observations of the research team are well reflected. I'm getting also very happy when I'm reading these quotes, because it's very motivating that we designed a process that is leading to such quotes. One of my favorite ones is finding a decision with so many advantages and disadvantages and different opinions. That is democracy for me. That's one of my favorite. And here you can see the process of the jury weekend. So for instance, on the left side, we always use a big map of the districts where we locate the ideas, so that the jury members can see which project drafts are located where, and if they decide that they want to kind of spread their decision, the project drafts they are deciding to be implemented all over the districts, such big maps help quite a bit. And on the right side, you can see the thumbs up for a final decision. That is all jury members of all 3 districts last year, with the moderators, with the facilitators, and team members. So quite a lot of people. Yeah, that's basically it. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'm happy to answer questions later on in the breakout sessions.
I do thank everyone who helped us moderate or who presented in this meeting, but most of all you, the participants who invested almost 1.5 hours of their precious time. I hope you could take away something from today's webinar, and we're happy to improve and learn and build on the experiences. This is the 21 cities that we have in the network from 13 European countries. There will be an invitation for additional cities to join, most likely this year. And we're happy to grow the network, but we already think it's a nice geographical spread. This webinar series is a part of our Network of Towns project called European City Network, and it features the cities of Antwerp, Barcelona, Bologna, Braga, and Cascais. We have joined forces to bring you best practice from across Europe and also to discuss those issues with citizens and experts to learn how to roll out and implement the successful projects across Europe. It is co-funded by the European Union and runs until next May, so May 2025.